Ready?
Justin, middle of the field, 45, 50. Green grass in front of him, leaving Lions in his wake. I am Jeff Joniak. Blitz is on. Down he goes! Oscar!
What was it like playing for Coach Ditka?
I don't want to answer any questions like that.
61 yards! A Sunday stroll for Justin Fields.
Oh, wow!
And etc.
Now, Bears Etc. with the voices of the Chicago Bears, Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer.
It was right there for the taking. Frustrating as that may be for a team that dictated the tempo of the game for all about the final 4 minutes. The first 56 minutes were fun to watch. Encouraging signs abound. Hello, everybody. I'm Jeff Joniak with Super Bowl winning Bears guard Tom Thayer, and welcome into episode 35 of the Bears Etc. podcast. Good to be with you each Tuesday and Thursday of the regular season. Coming up, we have Bears head coach Matt Eberflus, as we always do on Mondays. And we're brought to you by United. Good news, Chicago. United Airlines is getting brand new planes with all the bells and whistles like Bluetooth connectivity, screens at every seat, and room for everyone's roller bag. United, proud to fly the Chicago Bears, and you too. How you holding up?
When you talk about the time frame of the game, it's kind of like today. For that 56 minutes, I was so excited to broadcast the win for the Bears on the road, divisional game, a team that's gained a little respect in the NFL, and the Detroit Lions. Everything was excited up into the last 4 minutes of the game, and I think they played a little cautiously, and it came back to hurt them. But, when you listen to Matt Eberflus at the podium, every football team every week, whether you win or lose, whether you play a great game or a game that has some mistakes, you got to learn from it. Individually, by position as a whole, and the coaching staffs, and I think they will.
Yeah, we talked about all that with Coach Eberflus here. You'll hear in a moment. I brought up, decisions are parsed every way, every way. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong from the outside view. Sometimes from the inside view, what appeared to be right to the outside view is actually wrong from the inside view. You learn later. Decisions is part of sports. Decisions are part of being a head coach. It's part of being a quarterback, a defensive player, whether they break on a ball or don't. Are they making the right read on a play? So that's the sport. But it does get parsed, and it seems black and white, but it's not always black and white. Some things are. If the point of the attack is where the ball is supposed to go, it should go there, right? But sometimes it doesn't, and it gets bounced. And you mentioned just now, I think the suggestion is they got conservative, and I brought that up with Matt, and he believes that they are always aggressive. Where is it? Is it just that one series with the runs, or do you feel defensively that was also the case?
Yeah, you can be aggressive and cautious at the same time. I'm not saying that the Bears were never aggressive. It's just that as I look at it from 7 stories above the field, Jeff, and I'm a former offensive lineman, I look at the down and distance. I look at the field position. I look at what's at stake. And then as they break the huddle, I look at what the defense is doing. So when I see them with a one-back formation and there's 9 guys within the box, I'm kind of thinking outside the box, especially with an athlete as dynamic as Justin Fields. So I guess cautiously, as I'm saying, they ran into the line of scrimmage. I wish that they would have put the ball into the feet in the hands of Justin Fields and not only allow him to make an RPO decision. I would have taken that away from him. I would have had a specific design point of attack, or I would have had Justin Fields keep the ball 100% of the time with a blocker in front of him. Because early in the game, they had that same type of formation. Roschon Johnson in the backfield became his blocker to the outside edge, and he had a nice first down plus run. And so I guess, that's me, the ex-player, thinking about it from 7 stories above.
Well, let's listen in to the status at Hallis with head coach Matt Eberflus. All right, thanks, Matt. How you doing, buddy?
All right.
How does it sit with you today?
Well, I was visiting with the players during the team meeting, and really told them about all the good things they did do for a better part of that game. And then we looked looked at each other and took accountability how we got to finish better, as coaches and players, and the big part of that is just getting together and watching the tape and what can we improve on to finish that game out. Like I showed them, some examples, in the Vegas game or the Carolina game, how we did finish the game the right way. And we just got to keep building upon that. And what I was proud of is that the guys were, we were +3 in the turnover margin, and that's a winning formula. And I showed them, the games that we have won and the games that we have been competitive in, that is the case. And we have to just keep doing that because that's going to help us win games.
Are those meetings, and forgive me for asking because I have no idea, I haven't been in one. Are they interactive? Do the players speak up in those meetings?
Yeah, occasionally, yes.
Or do they say, hey, Coach, that's on me? That's on me. Do they do
that's
that?
more in like
did that
a
happen
unit
today?
meeting. That's more in a unit meeting, but in a team meeting, not
so
as much because I'm just presenting to those guys and sending a message. And the message for them was believe. Believe in yourself. Believe in the guy next to you, right? And believe in everybody in the room. And that's where it comes from. Because I told them we're doing so many good things right now. We're doing so many good. We're operating well. We have improved so much over the last 6 weeks, and we got to continue to do it. We got our starting quarterback back, so we just got to really just hone in on the details. And it's about the cycle of the snap and playing one snap at a time, and doing your job, and really just executing in those moments.
Do you have any doubt that they believe? I mean,
no, I don't.
Because
I don't.
I was just talking to T.J. Edwards about this last week. They light up when they start talking about, hey, everybody's getting healthy. They like how they're playing overall, not just focusing on defense, but and then with Justin back, he couldn't wait to get back. I mean, you can look in their eyes and see if they believe or don't, and their actions on the field, right? I mean, you do feel that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And these guys, like I said in the press conference after the game, these guys are tough, and they got a lot of grit, and they're excited to get back to work. They got to take care of their bodies this time of year, take care of their minds, and their spirits got to come back, here on Wednesday, because we got a big game on Monday night.
When you get in a head coaching position, and I'm sure the same thing happened as a defensive coordinator. I mean, and you and I were just I look at it as a coin, If something goes well, the coin looks good. If it doesn't go well, it doesn't look good. And it's all about a multiplicity of decisions, not only by coaches but players, quarterbacks or whatever. So do you find it challenging to take those questions on every single week? I know it's part of the job, but, there's a lot of questions about decisions.
Yeah, you got to make those decisions during the course of the game. It's in a lot of those are the fourth down decisions that you're making. On the plus side of the field or at midfield in the quad zone, or maybe it's throwing a challenge flag or not throwing a challenge flag, or what your play call was on this third down or that fourth down. But those are the decisions that you make. And we really spend a lot of time thinking about those before the game. And then in game, what's the game look like? What's the game transpiring during the game? And how does that change in the second part of the game? So, again, we went for a couple fourth downs, in the first half. Made a 4th and 1, made a 4th and 2. Those are great to convert those. Like I said, we had a lot of takeaways, which was good. We didn't convert on the first 2 in the first half, but we did in the second half. We had 2, got 10 points off of that. But the decision making there, is really just about us going up by 9 and going up by 12, based on where the game was there at the time. And that's where it was, and we felt really good about that. And then again, we just got to finish and execute at the end. In our 2-minute defense and in our 4-minute offense.
The idea of conservative, not conservative, I've never bought into that. I think you play to win the way you design the game plan, and you play to win. So, do you ever take umbrage with those kind of questions as well? Like, hey, did you not? Oh, did you play not to lose versus playing to win games?
Yeah, we're always going to be aggressive. We're in our mindset and our technique and our approach, and that's what we do, and that's what we're going to continue to do. So, we put our best foot forward there, what we think is going to win the game at that time. And when it works out, of course, it looks good, and when it doesn't, then you gotta you're going to get questions, you're going to get evaluated, and you have to evaluate where it is from there.
How have you kept this team together? I know you say it's a player-coach relationship, but I'm talking about the head coach, because it could have easily gone in different directions. Your players, I get it, but sometimes even if you know them, it just doesn't stick together. How have you managed that?
Yeah, I would just say this is that it's about the leadership of the men. It's about those guys really leading the team. And of course the vision and all that comes from the head coach and from the coaches. And the guys believe in how we do things and the process of it. And they believe in how we go to work every single week. And, after the game, how we evaluate the game. and how we keep improving. And this team is improving. It's gotten a lot better the last 7 weeks, and you could see that in the performance we just had on Sunday, and you could see it in many of the performances, in the last several weeks. And the guys know that, and they can see that. That's tangible. They can feel it, and now we just have to finish, learn how to finish these games off. And again, the NFL is hard, right? So it's hard to finish. So we got to make sure that we know it's going to be that way, and we just got to find a way to get it done.
What is the art of it?
The art of it is making plays down the stretch. You got to make plays, put guys in position as coaches, and players got to make plays down the stretch.
How do you handle losing?
It's never easy. It's never easy, and it never gets easy. You love to win, and you hate to lose, and that's the way this game is. But you also have to look at it in evaluation mode. Once you get past your 24 hours, how can I improve from that performance, win or lose?
All right, let's talk Justin. Looked fantastic. That opening drive, it may be the best opening drive in the 2 years. That's just from my opinion. It was sharp. It was creative. It was movement. You had them on their heels, and that, as I said to you earlier, it set the tempo for the first 57 minutes of the game. I know you said 54 minutes, the last 6 minutes, but I felt, the game was yours. And just talk about that opening drive. And, people always say, oh, how come you can't do that every drive? Well, everybody's got a first 15, and you're scouting out how that works, and you may set up a team with whatever you do on that first 15 that's going to come back later and burn them. So it's a very interesting concept, this whole first 15, or however many guys you guys use, I don't know. But what'd you think of that opening drive?
Yeah, it was good. It was, the play calls
had
were
9
good.
first downs on that drive.
Yep, there was no third downs.
9 first downs.
Yeah, so it was really good, really creative. I thought Justin played really well during that time. And what's more impressive is that that's 2 times now that we've went into a hostile environment, New Orleans, and now here, and we executed and scored, and that's a really good, really nice job by the offense, really good job by the guys communicating the play call, because it was loud. That was a loud place yesterday, and I thought they did a nice job executing.
Yeah, for times it wasn't loud though. You kind of, because of the possession time, I think you kind of lulled that crowd a little bit to sleep. Do you think that happened a little bit?
Yeah, when you execute. And you're playing at a high level like we were, that's going to happen.
It's extraordinary to have 40-plus minutes of possession time. Right? You don't ever think you're going to lose a game like that.
Yeah, you have 40 minutes, and then you also have 4 takeaways. And that comes down to finishing. But what can you take away from that? That's such a good thing to have. You put yourself in position to win the game. Now we just got to close it out.
I was asked about this last night about does this mean now the turnovers are starting to really add up, and is this now the Bears? And I said, well, there's oftentimes, the ball bouncing a certain way, but the interception was phenomenal by Stevenson, right?
Really good. Yep.
That was a great play. The effort on special teams, a great play. And then the pressure, I can't quite see it when I watched the review of the tape. Did the ball get tipped on the Edmonds by Dexter, and did it also get tipped on the Edwards interception?
I don't know about the Edwards one, but I think for Edmonds for sure. Yeah. And there was pressure on the one that was the 3rd and long that that bounced out to Jalen too. There was the one that.
Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, and there was another pick six, and he's just got to focus on it. He'll get the next one, And then he had a really nice break on the one down in the goal line too. But again, those opportunities are going to come, and we just got to seize those opportunities, and we did a nice job of seizing a few of them yesterday.
But what I was driving at about the tip is the inside pressure with Dexter's length and just what you guys are doing pressure wise. It may not amount to sacks, but it is amounting now to some plays, and guys got to be in the right place to get the ball.
It's obviously always going to be rush and cover, cover and rush. So when we do a good job of disguising, do a good job of changing up our coverages as we've been doing the last few weeks, it's going to give the D-line another tick. And the pressure, the inside pressure you get with some of those the bigger guys like a Dexter, like Jones, like a Pickens. Those guys are getting pressure inside, and that certainly affects the quarterback. It's a direct line to him.
Are you encouraged by what you saw And can you win with the kind of attack that Justin put together yesterday?
Yeah, no doubt. So him and I meet every Saturday, one final meeting and go over, what we talk about. And, the big thing is that, protect the football. And he did a really good job with that yesterday. He protected the football all day. He was good in the pocket. And, and it's about really, moving in the pocket and not taking sacks and then delivering the ball down the field. And I think that he's done a good job with that. We got to continue to work on punching the ball in there for touchdowns. I think that'll be a big difference for us. We got to really convert on those when we get the ball down there and not kick as many field goals.
All right, second time around, Minnesota, Monday night. Tough place to play as usual. It looks like Jefferson could be coming back, and this Joshua Dobbs thing caught everybody's attention. Obviously, it's unique. What do you make of it? Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, I think he's played well.
Yeah.
Right? He had a few starts, and he's played well in those starts, and obviously, they've been running the ball really well. They got two backs that are running the ball really well at this time, and I think they had 175 yards rushing yesterday. So that's going to be a big part of us making sure our first and second downs are really good to get us into good third down distances. And then defensively, they really put a lot of pressure on you. They got 6 or 7 guys up at the line of scrimmage. They're bringing everybody, or they're dropping guys out, dropping Nate out of there, and you saw that last night in the Denver game, and it's going to be a big challenge for our protection and us being able to manage that pressure.
Good luck this week.
All right, thank you.
All right, one thing I grabbed out of that as well, Tommy, is I asked him, can you win with the way Justin Fields was deployed on Sunday? And he said yes. You heard he said yes. How do you feel about it, the balance of using because I think just from watching body language or that little shake he had on his longest run of the season, I think it was a 28-yarder, I just think he plays better when he feels better, like he's making something happen. And it happens to be with his feet sometimes, like Washington, it was with his arm. But he needs to have moments of success in a game that kind of build throughout the course of the game. And then the finishing part is a whole nother matter for the whole team. But do you agree or do you buy that thinking?
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Jeff, I remember after the first drive of the game when Justin was deployed and the way he was, and he had some nice runs and he was throwing the ball efficiently, but the runs were making the defense of Detroit cautious. And then I took my headset off after that first series. They went down and scored. And I go, Jeff, this crowd is dead.
Yeah.
So it doesn't only infiltrate the sidelines of the Detroit Lions, it infiltrates into the stands. And now they're sitting on their hands going, oh my God, look at this guy. Is he going to do it to us again? So the way you deploy Justin Fields is you have to make your opponent, the defensive coordinator, no matter if he's on the field or up in the booth, be so apprehensive about what he can do to you that, when he comes up with the big plays, you see what he's willing to do to you.
And as we saw in the New Orleans game, as Coach Flus indicated in our interview, Tyson Bagent and the opening drive there, and then the opening drive yesterday. I wish you could carbon copy it, make it nice and neat the way it turned out. A 9-play, 75-yard drive, 10-play, 75-yard drive with 9 first downs and the touchdown by Deontay Foreman. But that doesn't happen. Teams adjust. Some of those plays are used to set up something else later in a game, but at the same time, to me, it's encouraging. I'd rather have it than not, and I'd rather get in front of a team when you get the opening kickoff than not, because you got that team already working out of a hole.
Yeah, what'd be funny is if you took the script and if you had success with it, if you just flipped the page and you did it again, and you said, okay, let's see if these guys are going to try to think too much. They're going to look into the formations and so, what are they going to do this time out of it? And just see if you can back up success with success. And listen, again, that's just an ex-player thinking outside the realm of reality in the NFL. But like you said, Tyson Bagent and Justin Fields have had such first series success that maybe you try to run it at them again and catch them off guard.
So you're saying replicate the whole drive?
Yes.
Hey, well, or at a minimum, make the formations look like it's going to be the same play and the concepts dictate some other route for the football, whatever. And versa. It's coming, and can you stop it?
Run the same play out of a different formation. That's all possible too. But I guess we digress. So, but I'm super encouraged by what I saw out of Justin after having that time off due to injury, because I don't think he ever favored any part. There's a couple times that after he broke with a run, he had to balance himself with his right hand. He had an unbelievable, beautiful throw to DJ Moore for the touchdown. So what I see, I liked, and I would like to see him do it again.
Take a chance. Download the Bet Rivers app today. Jeff and Tom of the Bears, Etc. podcast. Justin, and I alluded to this in the interview with Flus before the game against the Lions. I said, is this going to feel almost like a new season for Justin? One of his quotes after the game was, physically, he felt like it was the first game of the season. He felt great. And obviously, from this point forward, after taking hits and some, you would dare say, illegal hits to the quarterback yesterday, I know you were upset about a couple of them, made you sick. Do you think that's true? Do you think the body, even now with 6 games to go, feels a different way for Justin?
Yeah, to me, Justin is a guy that's always in tremendous shape. And I think that's one of the requirements if you're going to play professional football. And if you want to go out there and you want to play 17 games a year and you're going to dedicate this portion of your life to the sport, you have to be in the type of shape he is. So I think the only time that I was ever concerned about him is if he took an ugly hit or when he hurt his thumb. I'm never concerned about Justin's conditioning or his week-to-week the way he feels week to week. I think the guy is an example of physical fitness in the NFL.
Funny thing, this whole discussion about time of possession, and they had the second highest in the league. 42 was the highest so far this season by another team. But, you guys led the league in time of possession, which made a huge difference for the impact of your defense being fresh. And do you think that played into how the Bears defensively played for the greater part of that game? They were fresh. They were talking about Montez Sweat's 39 snaps, I think, but they didn't have that many plays on the field until late in the game when those 2 drives took up some time and some play counts.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. When you have a defensive line that can rotate 8 guys and you have a linebacker position that can play 4 or 5 guys, you have the defensive backfield that are in supreme condition and mostly play every play. If your offensive side of the ball can have time of possession that leads to touchdowns and points, it does so much for your defense because it allows your defensive coordinator to be more aggressive. And then, like Matt is saying, they have a certain rotation that Coach Travis on the defensive line uses as defensive linemen that you can put those guys in there fresh. And there's nothing worse for an offensive lineman who's tired from plays out there to see a guy that's not breathing, doesn't have his hands in his hips, is in that track stance ready to explode. So I think it can help the defense a lot going forward.
Yeah, he played 69% of the snaps. He also admits he'd like to feel fresh to rush the passer. And we keep bringing it up, but the 2 steps to get to a quarterback, he closes the gap so quickly. I want that explosion there the rest of the game. And I know somebody brought up in the media conference, about Hutchinson playing 97% of the snaps. Well, they don't feel real good about at the edge position right now over there outside of Hutchinson. So, the Bears like their rotation, and all those guys made an impact on getting that ball out, maybe not where Goff wanted the ball early in that football game.
To me, the explosiveness in all the defensive linemen, including Montez Sweat, is explosiveness out of your stance against a retreating offensive lineman. That's where you gain the advantage to be able to run down the quarterback, because there's a very few quarterbacks that have run the type of 40 that Montez Sweat did when you go back to the combine. There's very few offensive linemen that can retreat out of their stance as explosively as Montez Sweat and the defensive linemen can go forward while they're trying to go backward. So the explosiveness is really the weapon against the offensive lineman that helps most.
We're brought to you by PNC, official bank of the Bears. Braxton Jones and TJ Edwards at the podium on Monday. Tom, Braxton Jones, a lot of questions about him leaving the game for 2 snaps. He said he just, when he got knocked down, he got back up too quick. He got a little dizzy, or not dizzy, just lightheaded or whatever. But he didn't want to leave the game, but it was the right thing to do. He's all good. Didn't impact him the rest of the game. But what did is the loss, and the loss is mounting. Here's Braxton.
Everybody takes a part in a game like that. It's definitely tough. It hurts. It kills. I mean, being up like that and giving up that lead. But it simply comes down to executing the small things at the end of the day, whatever is called, whatever, situation we are in, we have to execute. And that's everyone. And I'm sure everybody would tell you the same thing. That is with me. I could have been better in that situation, could have been better down there, and when it's 2 passes in a row, I got to be better. And give him more time and everything like that. So everybody probably wants to be better. I just think it comes down to execution, and we're just still finding a way to finish those games and get a win in those situations.
And then overall, he admits it's not so simple coming back from an injury, an extended injury like that with the neck, and to pick up where you left off, because he was looking for outstanding growth from year 1 to year 2. He tackles that topic right here.
Just based off of self-reflection, last year was just kind of, I necessarily didn't know how to gauge my play, I guess. And this year I do. So I just think I'm still not where I want to be. And there's just things I got to clean up, and I know how to clean them up. I just, obviously coming back from the neck injury and having that deal is just, it's when people are getting better for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and you're out and you're not playing any football and you're just completely out. It's tough coming back and, playing, but I'm getting there. I just think I got to be more strict on myself and some technique things. But other than that, I feel 100% and way better than I have in, the last 8 weeks. So I just think based off last year, it's not like a true, I can't compare just because I was a rookie. I didn't, I was just playing ball. And I think this year I know a little bit more. And so based off my second year, I think that I could be doing a little bit better with the injury. Obviously, it's tough. But at the end of the day, I just want to be doing better and putting a better product. And not maybe, it's not a sack here, sack there, but I think how it looks to me and for myself technically is what's, bothering me. So
overall, after your watching of tape of Braxton since his return and where he started this season, do you see growth that he sees in his game, and that there is still plenty of room to continue to find better ways to play his position, which he readily admits?
If Braxton Jones plays 15 years, he's never going to play the perfect game. Improvement is an everyday pursuit, whether it's the in-season or the off-season. The off-season, it's always the pursuit of trying to get stronger than you were a year ago. Every day in practice, sometimes you're trying to incorporate new technique. You're trying to use the technique that you've perfected against what type of guy you're playing against that week. I love what I see out of Braxton Jones. He's super intelligent. He's long. He's an athlete out there. He can get to the edge. He can pull either way. So I don't even think Braxton Jones has scratched the surface of where he's going to be eventually. The only thing is I don't want him to get frustrated if he does have to leave the game for a play or two, or if he misses a block. Because listen, I can recall missed blocks, sacks I gave up back when I played. So it's not going to be any different to Braxton. He's a professional, he's a competitor, and he wants to be a perfectionist.
Would you give up a sack to that you still can't get out of your head?
Game 1 against the Cleveland Browns against Sam Clancy. That was one of the worst I ever gave, because then I said, okay, I'm on pursuit. I'm on pace now to give up 16 sacks in this regular season if I give up 1 a game. But I didn't give up 1 until the end of the season. And then I got beat on a 3-step drop on Monday Night Football by Michael Dean Perry that hit Jim McMahon. And I kind of screamed to him because I knew he was going to get hit. And then Jim yelled at me in the huddle.
So you can take somebody yelling at you, just not me.
Right. In that instance, I know it's only going to last 25 to 40 seconds.
Right. It won't linger.
Michael Dean got me good, and I'll never forget it.
All right, we'll get to TJ Edwards here in just a moment, because it's more focused on just him being a Bear and his feelings about the NFC North growing up and his passion for the Bears. I want to talk about some of the topics we used in the Bears Game Night live show on Fox on Sunday night, because I think they're very pertinent for this game. And one of them, your player of the game, was DJ Moore. And I look around the league and I still see big numbers for the top receivers in the league, and even guys that are rookies on the rise, like Tank Dell down in Houston getting, 8 catches and 150 yards. Do you think in the final 6 games of this season that will be as important as anything to continue Justin getting those possible double-digit targets to DJ Moore? Is that important as much as it is? I think it is, just for his own development in that deep passing game. That's just one aspect of playing quarterback, but it's a big one because of how good he is. That route and that throw, you're not going to find a prettier throw there, and I think it can continue. Do you feel it's important?
And DJ Moore, I want you to give him as many targets as you can possibly give him, as long as how he fits into the type of coverage that they're using against him, whether it's 2-man coverage against him or man coverage. I think he can beat any type. He's a bona fide number one. But I don't want to ignore Darnell Mooney, because I do think this guy is super creative with the ball in his hands, and I think he's an asset to DJ Moore as much as he is to Justin, because if there's more awareness of Darnell, then it gives more downfield opportunities to DJ. And obviously you got to keep Cole Kmet a part of the program. So to me, Jeff, it's been a long time since we've been broadcasting here that we've had a guy like DJ Moore, that we want more targets as the season goes on. And I think it's he and Justin have a really good relationship developing. Also, the play of the linebackers, it's always going to be important. Obviously, they feed off of what the front four does as well, but just their awareness of angles, getting to the area where the ball might wind up on a tip, as it was against Javon Dexter, and the tip to Tremaine Edmonds. The play of T.J. Edwards, the all-out play of Jack Sanborn. I like him on the blitzes. How important is that relationship brewing right now with that front seven? I mean, it's probably the most important part of the overall success of your defense, because they're way they're intertwined with the defensive linemen and what they're offering you. Whether it's pressure up front on a run play or pressure against the quarterback when they want to throw the ball. You see the results if they put pressure on the quarterback and they got him crunched inside the pocket, it results in interceptions. And then you see the free flow that these linebackers have if these defensive linemen are taking up multiple blockers at the line of scrimmage, and they're making the defensive or the offensive line slowly get to the second level. So I think that each position complements each other. But when you see multiple, double-digit tackles by these linebackers, you know that the defensive line's doing a lot of the dirty work. Here's T.J. Edwards at the podium on another really difficult loss for the Bears and how they're working through it.
Only been in one Super Bowl, so I've had some times we've lost some games at the end of the year and things like that. So I understand what it feels like to lose a game that you feel like you should have won. And but at the end of the day, the only thing you can do in this league is grow. As soon as you start to feel sorry for yourself and start to point fingers and things like that, some stuff gets really bad. And we don't have the guys in here that are doing that. We don't have the coaches that are doing that. We got the right guys in here to build this thing and keep growing. And it's a tough pill to swallow, no doubt about it. We're hurt by it because we put a lot into it. Just like you guys in your job, you put a lot into it. So do we, and we expect good results. And unfortunately, we didn't get it.
Tom, there's all kind of ways you can dissect the loss. Obviously, that one, it hurts badly, and anyone does. But you had him. You had him right where you wanted him, and you didn't let him. You didn't finish. You didn't finish the job, and that word keeps coming up. But I want to talk about a topic here: growth despite defeat. And I know everyone is tired of losing. Every fan is. We are. Players are. Coaches are. Organization is. But the fact of the matter is they are continuing to blend talent and develop talent. Do you believe there is growth in defeat?
I do. I think there's growth in defeat, but it's the way that you take it to the practice field the next week. If you go out and practice Wednesday, Jeff, and every one of those guys are hanging their heads and they're feeling sorry for themselves, it's tough to grow during that time. What they have to do is they have to go out there and with thick skin watch the tape in front of their teammates and understand how you can get better, what you need to work on to be the best that you can be individually, and then how the scheme all fits together. There's no doubt about it. You have to have growth and defeat. because you can never just focus on defeat. And I said, let that be a pouting time, because that is just going to defeat the purpose of competition.
But what if, you haven't won back-to-back games. You have this long NFC North losing streak. What if you don't get the reward?
The reward is in your work ethic. The reward is seeing you improve individually. If TJ Edwards can go home at night and say, I really improved in this practice. I'm understanding my opponents better. I'm getting to understand the responsibilities and the assignments of my defensive linemen so I can move faster. That's growth and that's improvement. Now, if that can spill over to everybody behind you and in front of you, and now everybody else is improving along the same rate, then the things are going to change. The outcome is going to change, and that's ultimately what you're looking for.
Bears fans, you can be there for live NFL action all season long as the official ticket marketplace of the Bears and the NFL. Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Bears. Jeff and Tom in the remaining moments of our Bears Etc. podcast, the first of 2 this week. I want to talk about the Tyler Scott emotions. I'm sure he has, because he had a fumble. Took 2 steps before tucking the ball, according to Eberflus. And then a play that, if it was made, it probably ends the game. And that was the deep shot there in the fourth quarter on that second-to-last drive. Scott, after the game, said he had a clean release, felt he had good muscle memory on the route. And while he was thinking all about his coaching points, looking up and not back of the ball, because it's easier to track that way, and Justin threw a great ball. Looking up at it, I just kind of misjudged it, I guess, a little bit. It's just something to learn from. I love the honesty. I know some people, when they hear the honesty, they want the honesty, but then they rip the honesty. But the fact of the matter is, he's young. In 2 weeks, next week, a year from now, he's not going to make that same mistake. He's going to run through the ball, and he's going to make a big play.
Well, it is for a guy like Tyler Scott, is developing reliability, because a week ago on 4th down, they go to Tyler Scott knowing that he's going to get hit inside, outside. He's able to jump up, make the catch, and give the Bears offense a first down. So now you're starting to develop that reliability from the coaches and from the quarterbacks going, okay, I believe that this is a go-to guy. The reliability that they developed is going to him on that long pass at the end of the game. And if everything he says is true about thinking about the coaching points, his explosiveness, tracking the football, the next time he'll make the catch. But he doesn't have the luxury of doing that multiple times, or else you're going to lose the reliability that you gained up until this point. To me, I think Tyler Scott has a lot of good in his game. I think he can run wide receiver sweeps. I think he can run screens. I think he's a go-to guy under some difficult catching conditions. So I want to see him rebound, and then that's going to give you an example of what type of committed pro ultimately he's going to develop into.
A longer than 2-year losing streak in the NFC North comes into the focus again on Monday Night Football. The next opponent for the Bears, the Minnesota Vikings. Here is TJ Edwards, a homegrown Bears fan, how he felt about the division over the course of his life.
Just the Packers in general was tough for me, and that's just one of those where Mom made a lot of food that week. You know what I'm saying? That Sunday was a big feast watching those games. My brother was actually a Lions fan growing up too, so he would, there's a big time rivalry just in the house. But honestly, it's hard to even name names. When it's like that, you kind of just, those teams in general just don't really sit well with you. But a lot of good screaming matches in the house growing up when those games were on, for sure.
They're a Lions.
He just to spite the family, you know what I'm saying? That's just how he is, man. That's how he is. He had his Joey Harrington jersey and all that, so yeah, we're ready to go.
We'd asked Cole the other day, growing up here, is it crazy to you that the Lions kind of are where they are? He said, yeah, it is. Growing up being a fan of this division, what do you make of the fact that this team that used to be at the bottom has now figured out a way to get to the top?
I mean, all you can really do is respect it. Obviously it's you've known where they've been at for a long time, and you respect the growth they had and respect the players that they have, the coaches they have, and it's a really good football team. Make no mistake about it, it's a really good football team. They execute their stuff well, and but I'm excited we get to see them in a couple weeks here again and at our place, and try to change that outcome for sure.
And then facing a Viking team for a second time, a tight game, a one-score game loss at Soldier Field.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive game, and I think to come off one like this, we're really going to find out who we are this week and find out, how much we can really dig deep and figure out if we can, go out and get this win. And I'm confident we can. Again, like I said, we got the guys to do it. We got the coaches to do it. We got those things in place. We just got to find a way to go out there. And there's no better place than, primetime Monday Night Football against another rival and go out and find a way to win, no doubt.
All right, I really love the perspective of the local guys. You, of course, one of them. We talked with Edwards last week, Cole Kmet, Dan Feeney, who played 40 snaps at center, coming off the bench for the injured Lucas Patrick, and just loved their perspectives, and I think it does hurt a little more as Bears fans, even though they're getting paid to do this, and now it's professional, it's a job, and I know it hurts you very much as well, because you got to start conquering the division. It has to happen, and why not on Monday night? There's definite signs of improvement in this football team in all three phases. We can pinpoint it and chart it and see it grow, but until the reward comes from the wins, you're still going to have these clouds over your head.
When you talk about this modern-day local group, I really admire them because me, Mike Tomczak, Gary Fensick, Kurt Becker, Emory Moorhead, we are all local guys. And we are the same guys that walked into that Minnesota stadium on that Thursday night, and we ended up winning. That kind of spearheaded us to the Super Bowl. And it was an important victory. I think the Bears are a better team right now than when they played Minnesota the first time around. So what you have to do is you have to grow and improve from your experience in Detroit. You have to go into Minnesota with the intentions of beating them on Monday Night Football and then put conversation in the minds of the nation because everybody's going to say, oh, my God, okay, is this Bear team developing? What are they all about? Where are they going? And I think the Bears have an unbelievable opportunity to show the football world that they are improving, they are getting better. Justin is a weapon that you better, be concerned about as he grows into the future.
Miller Lite, the official beer of the Chicago Bears. Tastes like Miller Time Chicago. So it could be a Justin Jefferson return. He missed the Bears game in Week 6. The Bears still have plenty to worry about. Those weapons have done a nice job despite his absence. Their 5-game losing streak ends in the game in the Rocky Mountains against Denver on Sunday night. But Josh Dobbs is an intriguing player right now. He's got mobility that Cousins does not have, but he doesn't have the rhythm and the type of play that Cousins has done in the passing game. And there is ways to look at this, many different ways, but it's probably still coming at him fast. I mean, Dobbs, he's kept saying he's got to go over the game plan so much so he doesn't reflect back on a system he just had been in, which was several from Cleveland to Arizona to Minnesota this year alone. And that's challenging. I mean, he's a super smart guy, but I would think that that's a challenging task where things from other schemes sneak into your head because these plays, some of them are very similar, may be the same concepts, but they're just named differently.
I bet through that same experience when Doug Flutie came to the Bears, and he had very little time to learn the system, and he was reverting back to his old language and the old numbering system for the holes that he played in. So sometimes that can be haunting in a quarterback's head. However, Joshua Dobbs has got nothing to lose. I mean, his future's not going to be decided on what happens on Monday night. So he plays free. He plays carelessly. Some of the throws he makes are last-second decisions that the receiver better be in the spot. But you're going to have to attack him like he's a quarterback in the third or fourth year of this system. And I think the Bears can do that, and they can play aggressively because of him.
Yep, play aggressively. They're turning the ball over again. 3 turnovers, 0-49 on the road in the last 40 years when losing the turnover battle by 3 or more of those Vikings. I mean, that would be a case for a lot of teams. The Bears took the ball away 4 times and still didn't win their game, but it'll be an interesting showdown One of the best stadiums in the NFL. There's no question about it. It's a great place to watch a game, call a game, and be at a game. Steinhafels is an employee-owned furniture and mattress store. Visit any of their Steinhafels is an employee-owned furniture and mattress store. Visit any of their 4 Chicagoland locations in Vernon Hills, Crystal Lake, Downers Grove, and Harwood Heights, or shop online at steinhafels.com. Tom, the Bears have lost 5 in a row to the Vikings. I say it's time to put their foot down. How about it?
Put your foot down and keep it down. Be aggressive, and you got to be aggressive from start to finish. The likelihood of the Bears going anywhere this year is really their chances aren't good. But you still have to be as aggressive with the talent that you have out there, and you have to make the Vikings pay for it. And you have to come away out of there a winner, have a fun flight home, get a really rewarding bye week, and then get ready for that home stretch.
All right, I forgot about the bye week. Guys are going to be looking forward to that, I'm sure. I mean, everybody makes plans and so forth, and just to rest the body a bit, it's one of the latest bye weeks, if not the latest in the NFL. So that's a factor
nothing like a bye week after a win, Jeff.
Yeah. You just hope one thing though: halftime you're losing or something, and you don't start thinking about the bye week instead of what's in front of you. Those things happen too, I'd imagine. But I think this is a mentally strong team. I don't think the coaching staff and these guys roll that way. I don't. So I think they'll be looking forward to this challenge. No question about it. Any final thoughts after watching the tape?
No, just you started the show with it. It's you watch it and you're excited and you're calling a winning game and you're so excited about being there in that stadium and getting ready to load the buses and the plane with flying high, and then you have the rug pulled out from underneath your feet, and then you come back and you start searching for reasons why and what you need to do to improve. And I think it's probably the same thing in the locker room and in the meeting rooms.
All right, Tom, we'll talk to you again on Thursday. It'll be Thanksgiving Day. You can eat your turkey and then pop on the podcast and enjoy what we have to say about the Minnesota Vikings. Hope to have a couple of guests on the show as well. For Tom, I'm Jeff. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe now on the Chicago Bears official app, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast. Bear down, everybody.